I wanted to deal with in this video how being pro-choice is inconsistent with being ethically vegan. What I want to start out with is this, okay? For one, I notice how a lot of, well, almost all ethical vegetarians I know are pro-choice and liberal. I happen to not be. The only other people I know that are not liberal, that are vegan or vegetarian, happen to be National Socialists or neo-Nazis or embrace straight edge of some kind or something of that nature, or are, I don't know any Seventh-day Adventists in real life. But the only two organizations I know that promote a consistent state of being are the Seventh-day Adventists and the Hare Krishna organization, or International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which both promote a pro-life stance. So why is it inconsistent to be pro-choice but vegan? Okay. Well, let me explain. One of the problems with why people are not vegetarian to begin with is that they have a disconnection between the human animal and the similarity to the other animals. There is a disconnection between man and nature. This has been a problem for a very long time. And this is not due to Christianity. A lot of people like to say Christianity separates humanity and nature. As people can tell by Ellen G. White's writings, this is not true, and any true Christian knows that Christians are meant to be good stewards of the earth, not to destroy the earth, okay? So it's not Christianity. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is this with the inconsistencies of ethical vegetarianism and being pro-choice. One must take into consideration that ethical vegetarians happen to be the snarkiest, most obnoxious people in existence, besides maybe these militant Dawkins atheists that go around. And if you have a Dawkins-style atheist that happens to be a vegan, God help you. Okay? But the fact of the matter is this. If you accept reality on reality's terms, you must come to the conclusion that humans are animals, okay? And that if it is unethical to eat baby animals, such as veal, or embryonic animals, such as eggs, then it stands to reason that it is unethical to eat, but to perform acts of infanticide, which is what abortion is. If it's a crime, it's called infanticide against members of your own species, okay? And that's, technically speaking, what abortion is. Now, the reason I say this is a very good friend of mine, and I have mentioned her in the past, and she's been on my mind a little bit. She's kept me very honest with myself, with what I believe, and that's a great thing. So in Argentina, thank goodness, the Congress of Argentina voted down legalizing infanticide. Now, I may have made a past video, and I do believe this. I believe that abortion is ultimately a moral issue, especially in the United States, or countries that are not predominantly Catholic, or countries that specify a strict separation of religion and governance, okay? Argentina is not a country like that. Latin America is not a country like that. Ergo, the people in these countries should be able to feel as though their governments are respecting their wishes and standing up for them. And a Catholic country should be consistently against abortion. However, what I would like to say is ultimately, especially in a country like the United States, it is a moral issue, not a legal issue. One of the biggest problems that you see, and this goes with the inconsistencies of ethics, are people that have basically come to terms in their own mind that somehow it is ethical to basically, for a woman to choose to eradicate a life if that life happens to be inside of her. Now, I'm not super duper pro-life. I'm for pre-implantation selection of embryos, okay? I am not somebody that believes every fertilized embryo is worth saving, or that every, the extinguishing of a fertilized embryo is the same as the eradication of a fetus, okay? Because it's not. However, there are people that do believe that, and their wishes must be, in my opinion, their wishes should be respected, especially in countries that adhere to those things. I think the problem with why abortion has gotten so out of hand is the dehumanization of people. It has to do with you can put a monetary amount on anything these days. And the further and further we get from nature, and the further and further we get from these things, the further we get away from understanding the sanctity of all life. Now, what's funny is Christians and other people like that tend to think that all vegetarians are loopy. And this is because you have to admit that up until very recently, people knew where their meat came from, and there wasn't a general respect for animals. But we are becoming more civilized in many ways. And one of those ways is coming to the understanding that our relation to other animals makes it ethically immoral to kill things that have the same thoughts and feelings as we do. But what I want to make very clear is I'm not a militant vegetarian, and I don't go around telling people you can't eat meat. And the reason why is because this drives people away. I am somebody that does believe that eating less meat is better than eating a lot of meat. And the reason why is because when you come at people hardcore, they shut down. Now, this is true also for people that are pro-life. The problem with being too militantly pro-life is you can turn people off. But I would like to point this out. This young lady really did take a hard stance with being pro-life. And I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful thing to see a younger person these days actually strongly and courageously embrace an unpopular idea such as being pro-life. It is very sad to me that so many people in my age group, I'm 35, in my age group and older than me and younger than me have become so separated from the concept of life being sacred. And this is why also, as a life extensionist, I think we're having such a hard time pitching life extension, is because people do not see life as a sacred thing. There are so many people that believe euthanasia is a great thing. They don't want to live in a frail or feeble manner. But yet, what's funny is these same people do not seem to have the ability to think of a way in which rejuvenation is possible, or with which life extension is possible, because there is no desire to embrace a sanctity of life anymore. And that is one of the bases of Western civilization that we not only need to re-embrace, but to expand upon if we're to push Western civilization into a future state of being.